What's up, Captain Chris? What's up, Benson?
What's up? I think your
How's
mic's
it going?
fuzzy.
It always starts out like that. Can you hear me clear now? There's no fuzz.
It's still kind of like you have like a filter on or something.
Uh, but yeah, man. Like since Christopher
There we go.
interrupted me while I was speaking. No kidding.
Sounds much better.
No. Yeah, this one's gonna be about Hellboy. So I always put this in the very beginning because a lot of people, I don't get it. It even says it on the freaking thumbnail. Spoilers ahead. But
What?
They're
We're
probably like,
talking
"Ooh."
spoilers? What?
yeah.
Yeah. They're probably like, we already saw this Hellboy. Like, we're watching Hellboy again.
Yeah, this is according to Brenton, the better version. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're getting a lot of hate sent my way for no reason. You keep saying things like that.
Nah, but let's see. Check the chat really quick. Danny Lee, and Danny Lee listening in while finishing work. Thanks, Danny.
Yeah, thanks, Danny.
But we were talking a little about it before the show. Never, excuse me, I never got to see this movie or watch this movie when it came out or after until today. So I waited so long, honestly, because the reviews, like everyone's saying, like don't waste your time, or it's a weird movie, so hold off. And I'm just straight up say I'm glad I watched it. So
Same, definitely. And I'm in the same position where it's like I heard bad things from everybody, and that's why I didn't watch it. But yeah, I'm glad I watched it.
I feel validated now. I'm saying, it's like it's
Yeah.
not the greatest movie ever, but it's fun. So that's what I had. Like it's a funny movie. Like there's a lot of good lines by Hellboy in this movie.
So Brent, I didn't get to catch up on the comics. I had a busy weekend. I had a busy day at work, but I could see this taking stuff from the comics because it didn't give me a Guillermo del Toro vibe at all. It gave me like a whole separate vibe, like it's from the comics or it's a whole different world compared to.
Yeah, the only thing I don't remember as not being part of like a comic was the Blood Queen. Like I don't remember her being in it at all. Unless she's in a BPRD book. That may be a small like caveat to that, but in the main Hellboy series.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't read the book, so I mean I'll catch up on the books and everything, but I think that's enough with the spoilers ahead. let's get into the cast really quick. This honestly, I made this the thumbnail and I made this the background because this is what suckered me. This is like the first image that we got of the Hellboy movie coming out. You guys remember?
Yes. I remember people were kind of worried that they were recasting Ron Perlman or rebooting the franchise, and this is one of the first pictures. And I remember the general reception for this is that, people were actually impressed. They're like, hey, David Harbour actually looked pretty good as Hellboy here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. Like, I never got to see the movie or the show Stranger Things, but they were like, he's from that show and he's great. But how about you, Brenton? What do you think?
Yeah, I thought he looked really good. I saw the first season of Stranger Things, but I never kept going. I guess it wasn't enough to pull me in to, I don't know, watch 4 more seasons or whatever they're on now. But I think he looks great, and that I couldn't tell. Is that actually him or is he in a suit? Do you know that?
Yeah,
think it's a suit, right?
So it's the same as the Hellboy 1 and 2. Ron Perlman wears this like weird suit apparatus. Like it's just it gives him the pecs and everything and the six pack, but like it gives him a bigger structure too. So he has that on. He also has the prosthetics on his face too and the veins.
Yeah, and he's Go ahead.
I was gonna say that weird hairy strip down the middle of his back. That's probably the only thing that I found disturbing about like this design.
Well, I was actually gonna say something about that too. Is not the hair, but the back part of his design. It's funny. During the end, you kind of see him from his back, and I could see kind of like love handles back there. I'm like, dang, Ron Perlman was a little bit more fit there, or slim on the waist.
Nah, it's funny the stuff we catch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
uh,
I'm sorry. Before we jump in, if we're talking
sorry.
a little bit about his like aesthetic, did you notice? To me, it looked like for his stone hand, the hand part was separate from the wrist gauntlet. Like that's how they designed it for him to wear. Did you notice that at all? Because it felt like that when he was fighting in some of the scenes. Like I felt like the gauntlet would shift a little bit or look a little different. That it wasn't actually connected to his hand.
I didn't catch that.
Are you
I
talking about like this part right here?
So yeah, like his like at the wrist, I think they just put like a black sleeve, and those are actually two separate pieces. Like they're not connected. But I
Okay.
think that was just a design choice for functionality, I guess, for the movie.
I didn't
But I
catch
think
that.
because I
Sorry.
was maybe because I've seen it multiple times, I was like, that was the first time I noticed it. I was like, wait a minute, did they make that two separate pieces? But it's supposed to be one, but the way they build it in, I guess, for practical effects, maybe they separated it just to give him a little more movement.
I could see that. Um, compared to the first Hellboy, I guess like talking about his hand or his like yeah, his doesn't it look like more steel than brick compared to like the first one? Like this, you can see
Mhm.
the shine off of it right here, where the first one was like matte or like flat.
Yeah, like stone, like you would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
this one definitely felt more artificial, or at least looked more artificial.
It's cool because the thing I really loved about this design and everything was his face. Like they made him look more very rugged. You can't see the actor in this one, to be honest. You could see a little bit, I guess you could see in the eyes, but like
Mhm.
he has scratches, he has like scars everywhere, and he looks beat up. You know, it looks like a beaten down Hellboy. And the ears were an awesome part too.
I didn't really notice the ears. Now that you mention it. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I like the look of it. I guess like my only critique was like I'm so used to the Hellboy having his hair tied up that I didn't really like him having like long hair most of the movie because it just I don't know. In my opinion, it just made him look like a bum, like he was just some guy off the street. But yeah, maybe that's just because I saw Ron Perlman's Hellboy. That was just always in my image what Hellboy looks like.
Maybe
So
this is his early 20s version. Everybody
yeah,
likes to grow
true.
their hair out a little bit.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, it's definitely an early version. But for some reason, he looks so much older than like Ron Perlman, even though Ron Perlman's probably way older than this guy.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Um, what I did notice in this movie was like he's more quicker. Like he's quicker than Ron Perlman. He's like I see him moving around more than Ron Perlman did in the other movie. Like it's funny. I was looking um at like some clips from the second movie, and it's always just Ron Perlman sitting with a beer, or like he's
It
just
is.
always like, yeah, he's just like, and meanwhile this guy's like moving around, running around, hitting stuff, climbing stuff.
He's fighting giants. He's like beating
Mhm.
up other like demons and stuff. Yeah, that's true.
Well, I
But
guess, what, Ron Perlman was almost 60 when he made that movie,
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
this guy's probably in his 30s or 40s, so there's a difference there.
yeah.
as far as a character, do you guys think? So his name is David Harbour. Do you guys think he played it any good?
I would say he played it okay. Like it depends because in this movie his dad is still alive through most of the movie. But I guess that's implying that he's still kind of younger too than Ron Perlman's one. Um, but what I didn't really like, I don't really like David Harbour as an actor because he like brings an aggressive tone or attitude to like his roles. So in this movie, you see Hellboy yelling more and like cursing
Yeah,
more and being like,
he's
you know,
like
why are we
angrier,
doing
quicker.
this? Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then I just see David Harbour just yelling in Stranger Things a lot. So he played Hellboy okay in my opinion.
See, I liked his rendition. I thought his comedic timing was
Uh-huh.
really good, and I'm like the exact opposite of that. See, I think he acted this really well in that, considering whatever he was going through, where he's still young, feels singled out, wonders why everybody's trying to kill him, or what's going on. Humans just kill monsters. You know, he's having to face that as well. So it's like, what do I do? I'm supposed to defeat someone that's kind of fighting for the same stuff that I want to fight for, or against humans.
Yeah, exactly. Like his whole life is literally just to fight these monsters while everyone's just hiding him away. And then he finds this like enemy that, like, just like Brenton said, it's like a whole dilemma that he he has to go through.
Yeah. And like that whole thing with how he's trying to figure out, balance like protecting humans and monsters, whatever. There's like a scene towards the end where he's coming out the SWAT van, and then somebody already starts shooting him. He's like, "Hey,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
on your side."
Oh, yeah.
It just makes me think of that scene. That scene was great.
You know what's funny? He does that to somebody else too, but he says, "Well, I missed, didn't I?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get into more scenes a little bit later, but yeah, David Harbour as Hellboy. We I will always remember her as the Resident Evil lady. So
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Mila Jovovich.
Jovovich, I think.
Yeah, as Nimu. She's like basically the antagonist of the whole thing. Did you guys like her at all?
Yeah, I thought she played her role pretty well. I What I didn't like though was her costume. Like I was expecting for a witch she would look more like a witch, but instead it's just Mila Jovovich in like a black outfit with like a V like neck thingy going on. But yeah, her character was pretty good. I think she played it really well. She I wasn't expecting her to have have scenes where she was showing emotion. Like when she was trying to get together with Hellboy, you could see her like kind of her eyes changed, it got softer, and she was expressing how they're both different and that they should change the world. So I was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah, I wonder if her design choice was because, what was the Blood Queen, like how much of that was portrayed as opposed to the witch side of it. So I don't know if she was actually a queen or if she was just like an evil queen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like I didn't understand that one. Well, I didn't get to like grasp that either. But I I can't get Resident Evil out of my head like when I see her. So every time she looks beautiful, and everything. Even though when she's like, in the very beginning of the movie where she gets cut up and everything like that, she's still beautiful. I'm like, you guys can't make her a little bit like messed up a little bit more, like
Yeah,
she's
like
so beautiful.
I
But
was
like,
expecting a scene where, like Lord of the Rings, when it shows Galadriel, like Frodo was offering her the
oh
ring, and
yeah,
then suddenly she turned like she got really scary, and her eyes went dark. And I was expecting a scene like that where she gets angry, and then something happens to make her look freaky. But yeah, we never got that.
mm.
Well, that's how they
I
suck you in, right?
Yeah.
Jesus. I'm really happy that like she didn't transform into like a demon or like a huge monster. I like how she kept her her vessel or whatever. I guess you could, even though she had all these powers, she could have probably transformed into something crazy.
See, that's something I disagree with. Like,
You didn't like that?
I didn't like that because I wanted more of like a fight between them towards the end, but we never
Mm.
got it. she just kind of goes away. So she didn't really like we might talk about this later. I mean, we most likely will, but the ending I didn't really like at all. So, and that was part of it, to where we didn't see her have her big moment. I feel like that big moment never really came for her.
Yeah, it will definitely get towards the end. The end was like there's like 3 endings. So I'm lucky. I'm happy Brent mentioned it. I was like it's already like 2 posting credits and then 3. I was like, what?
Yeah, I was surprised at that.
But just to keep going with the cast. So here's another one of her. This is in the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we never see that other girl again. We see her like once more in the movie, and then she's gone for the rest of the movie.
Well, she's the one that betrays her, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we see her again because then she's like, "You never showed mercy on me back then,"
Mhm.
and then does something to her at the end of the movie. So she kind of like gets her revenge on her.
Yeah, but like she tells Hellboy where to go, and then that's it. Like we don't hear from her again. At least not that I remember.
No, I think she was just kind of a throwaway, just like a plot device to keep the story going.
That's the thing about this movie. They had a lot of throwaway characters, like, but they didn't have any like that many main characters compared to the first movie. So that's something that didn't stick for me.
Yeah, I agree.
What were you saying, Brenton?
No, nope.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's all right.
So actually, did you guys like the style? Like, Guillermo has his own style. Like, it's a little bit hot topic is the best way I could gothic and all that stuff. Here, they're trying. It looked to me that it looks like they're trying to look it, but modernize it in a certain way.
Uh-huh.
Did you guys like the aesthetic of the whole, I guess, costumes and sceneries and stuff like that?
I did appreciate the variety in it, like especially with Hellboy and the Giants when he's out in the day. Um, I would have liked it if it was a bit more darker with the aesthetic of it, especially with the witch, because I already gave my opinion on that. But um, yeah, I thought it was. I can't say I appreciate one over the other because I feel like they both have their positives.
Yeah.
Well, the Del Toro movies usually took place at night, though, right? So like everything was always kind of a dark scene where it's, he was supposed to be a big secret, whereas this one, kind of that aspect wasn't part of this. Of let's keep this a secret, nobody's supposed to know about us, and that kind of you never got that feeling from at least this movie.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I like the aesthetic and the different sceneries. You felt like you really traveled around a little. So
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
The next character we had was Sasha Lane, who played Alice. This character kind of confused me a lot. Like, I'm glad Brenton and you guys got to watch, or you got to watch it. But like, so she is she could talk to the dead. She speaks with like the dead, and then she starts gaining powers somehow. I must have missed that part or something. But how does she keep gaining powers?
I think they said like when she was being switched by the fairies, her time with the fairies gave her something. Like, they kind of just said being around the fairies might have caused her to have psychic powers. I think that was like a throwaway line, though. I remember Hellboy mentioning it once, or she mentioned it once. I forget. They didn't really go into it much.
Yeah, I really just took it as this was kind of her power set. She didn't get anything new. It's just we didn't see everything all at once.
Oh,
It
that
was kind
could
of
be it
as
too.
the
Yeah.
movie unfolded.
Yeah, because then she started learning how to like fight, and then like every time she punched somebody, she would punch the soul out of them or something. And it was like, there's a lot going. Like, did I like fast forward it or something? Like, what
Well,
happened?
I could understand the fighting part. I'm sure like BPRD has training, so they don't want to send people out into the field. So I guess I'm just one of those that I was just kind of going with it. Like I wasn't
You take it
questioning it
as
too
it
much.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I should. Yeah. She played it good. She played it well. Like, I definitely liked her as I don't know, as her partner, not like, girlfriend or anything, but as his partner. What did you guys think of her?
Like I haven't mentioned this yet, but overall, my feeling of the dialogue in the movie, I feel like it was awful. Like when the characters would talk to each other, it was terrible, in my opinion. Her character suffered the worst, I think, because she had like lines that just sounded cheesy and cliche. Um, like there was a part where he's like, "Get behind me," and then she's like, "Where else am I gonna go?" It just seems like I don't know. Dialogue like that just sounds like you could hear it in any show or movie. Um, and then later on, the same guy goes, he's hiding behind her or something, and he's like, "Where else am I gonna go?" And I don't know. Her character suffers the most with those throwaway lines. Her character overall, though, I find she was okay. She was fine. She had her psychic powers and um her punching ghosts or punching spirits out of people was I didn't really get that because she didn't even know she could do that. But yeah, I thought she was fine.
Yeah, I enjoyed her as a character. I'd have to say I think I like the side characters that were with Hellboy more in this movie than I did in the other two.
Oh,
Mm,
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Except for Abe. Abe was cool. Sorry.
Uh, I mean, he's technically in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But Brenton, is she in the comics by chance, or is she not?
See, I don't remember her, but that's why I'm not sure how much they pull from the BPRD because they do so many series of that, and
Mhm.
I haven't gone down that path. So they could pull characters from all over that series, and I wouldn't know it.
Okay. To keep going, Ian McShane played Professor Bloom. When this guy comes on screen, I always think of that movie with John Wick.
Yeah,
So
John
when I
Wick.
saw
Yeah,
Yeah.
him, yeah, I didn't know this guy was in this movie. So when I saw him, I was like, "Oh, is this in the John Wick universe?"
he's gonna give him a coin.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh." But Christopher, what'd you think of this? I guess his dad, basically.
I didn't like him. Like,
What?
I didn't like him much. He definitely has that presence, the actor of like a wiser old guy, but he's still cool. He's still with it. But um, I didn't like how his character was so angry all the time too. Well, he wasn't angry all the time, but he had moments where he was just yelling at everybody. There was a scene where the queen was killing people in the city, and then he's like, "We gotta find her. What the hell are we doing?" It's like, what? Calm down, buddy. Like you're supposed to be, you're supposed to
A
have like years
rational.
of experience. I think like hundreds of years, right? Because he lived longer or something, like World War II or
Yeah, they talked
no,
about how they aged a lot slower since then.
yeah. And I would have expected him to keep his cool by now, but the way they wrote him, I just didn't really care for him. And also how he was hiding stuff from Hellboy, and then Hellboy was yelling at him for like, "Why are you hiding this from me? Like, what else are you hiding?" And he was like, "Well, just do the mission." Like, that's what I got from that scene. So, yeah, I didn't like him.
It's okay.
I
How about
thought
how
he,
about you, Brendan? Sorry.
I thought he had a great voice. Like I like
Yeah,
the voice of the character, but you know, I think he's a good actor. I enjoy him in John Wick, and I think he does play a good father figure because he kind of mirrors both of those roles in both movies. Um, Maybe we just saw more of Professor Broom in this one than we did in the other one. Like they didn't like he was dead kind of early, and he didn't do a whole lot.
uh
This one, this Broom seemed a lot more active. Like he was a lot more involved in stuff.
Yeah, the other one you're mentioning, I feel like he that broom was a lot more fragile than this one. This one was more like more forceful upon Hellboy. He was like
Yeah.
he was basically being that bad dad, good mom, bad dad, like you don't
yeah,
listen to me, this is what's gonna happen.
But maybe they wrote him a little more aggressive for the ending to be a little more impactful, because he was never like the I'm a
Soft act.
caring person. Like, he's not sensitive.
Yeah.
He's like very much like a prototypical like hard, no emotion male. And then when he actually shows emotions at the end, I
You
think
feel
that's
for it.
supposed to hit a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
I
see
mean,
that.
I feel like it could have worked the other way too, though, if he was like more caring and more like giving heart to heart talks with him. Because at the end, if he had expressed that anger, then it would have really woken him up. Like Hellboy would be like, "Whoa, I've never seen him like this. I must pay attention," you know?
I
Yeah.
feel like in 20 years, when Christopher's a dad and he's raising his kid, I'm gonna have the same talk with him. You could have been more heartful with your kids.
Don't talk to me about my kids.
Well,
Sorry.
There's a
maybe part
scene.
of it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Oh,
go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a scene at the end too where he's like, grow a pair. You're a man." I'm like, what? Come on, buddy. Like, I don't know. I just didn't like the way he was so, the whole time.
Well, I was going to say at the end too, he talked about like he never knew what he was doing. He was just doing the best he could. But this wasn't like who he was. He said, I was a killer. I never anticipated having a son or taking care of somebody. So, coming from that perspective, I think that's probably also played into his personality and why he was so aggressive and just kind of like short and angry all the time, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, aggressive, yeah. But yeah, we'll get into more of his scenes a little bit later. But the last character, and one of like the ones that surprised me, he's from one of my favorite shows of all time, Lost. And the second he opened his mouth, I was like, "What happened?" Like,
Guess they
we're,
found him.
yeah. Yeah. But his accent threw me off like the whole movie. I was like, a British accent with a guy from Hawaii that is American, that what? It threw me off, man. Like, I couldn't get over it. And then like uh but I'll let you guys go a little bit. Christopher, what do you think about
um,
what's his name? Ben.
oh,
Even
yeah,
his
you know
name.
what? Yeah, I can't really remember his name. Um,
His name's Ben.
yeah, you know what I like about him is his voice. He kind of has like such a, like, you can't confuse his voice. You know, if he says something, you're not going to be like, what did he say? He says it so, like, he's good at enunciating his words. I don't know. He's
You what?
Sorry.
um yeah, so he kind of comes into the movie out of nowhere saying, like, Professor Boom's like, "Oh yeah, he's an MI operative. We're in Britain, so work with him," and then just walks away. He hates Hellboy. He wants to kill him just because of how Hellboy has that prophecy about him.
Mhm.
Uh, Overall, I feel like he added almost nothing to the characters. Like, he has moments where he has like a mysterious thing where he needs to inject himself every time he gets like emotional or gets aggressive or something hits him. So I thought that was going to be a bigger part, and then later on, he turns into like a cheetah man. Uh, and then it's funny because the first time we see him as a cheetah man, he's fighting the boar, but then the boar just kicks his ass anyway. Like,
Like
I was
the
ex-
whole movie, they're building up to this
Mhm.
like monster that he's gonna become, and instead of like turning into the monster that defeats like a bad guy, he
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 doesn't even
gets.
defeat the bad guy. Yeah, he just gets beat up and he gets thrown to the side. And so I feel like if they didn't have this character in the movie, it wouldn't have changed anything. Like, when I think about it, he had almost no major impact on the story or saving Hellboy or anything. He kind of distracts the boar a little bit, but the boar would have been stopped anyway by the witch. So what did he do?
What do you think, Brenton?
uh, I was thinking that, did they put him in there to serve kind of like the Abe Sapien role, where he's that uh, I guess, logical kind of
Like
part of the team.
intellectual. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, it reminded me of like his relationship to Hellboy. It's like a Batman Superman thing, where like Batman was always planning like a way to stop Superman because he knew he had all that power, and if he decided to turn bad, they'd need a way to defeat
Oh,
him
yeah.
until he got to know him better. And I think that's the same kind of relationship that he had with Hellboy, where he's like, okay, I know, you know, if he turns bad, we got to stop him because he's going to be this unstoppable force then. And then once he got to know him and realized that no, he's actually good on the inside, he
Brenton
decided to
has
get rid
watched
of
this
his.
one too many times to come up with that comparison.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah.
But like Brenton, do you feel like he added anything to the movie?
No, I can see your point where it's like, you know, if they just wrote him out, it probably wouldn't have changed the film all that much. So like he doesn't add enough to be like, oh yeah, if he's missing, the movie stops.
Yeah.
So he's definitely just there for, I don't know, just a guy to give you some laughs, maybe someone to argue with Hellboy.
I feel like if he was more like his dad, like more assertive, like his dad, played, he would have had like a bigger role in this movie. But he kept going like, "Oh, I'm gonna argue with him one time," and then let off. Arguing with him, let off, like really quick. He like kept. I don't know. It's a character that I feel like you guys are kind of mentioning that he could have been dropped off, but honestly, it's the Trinity, right? Him, the girl, and Hellboy.
Yeah. Probably my favorite part though is when Hellboy punches him in the face at the end.
Yeah.
But let's see, Christopher. No, I'm sorry, Brenton. So the episode is called "Great Homework." Could you explain to us a little bit? Like, I get it now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, when they kind of have to do research on the Blood Queen, and Hellboy, this is the last thing he wants to do. You just hear him complaining like a kid would, and you know, maybe a high school or something. He's like, "Why do these books have so many words?"
yeah.
And he's just, you know, that was one of his smart remarks that he made when his dad tells him, you know, let's read this so we can get a little history on it, so we know where she's going to be at or how to stop her. And he's just like, great homework.
Yeah, that's a good scene. But it's also the scene too where they start arguing, and
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Where he's like, "What are we doing? Like, what am I gonna? Why am I always hunting monsters?" So,
I feel like the dialogue was good in certain parts of the movie, like especially when you're referencing to like that when they're arguing, it like they're making both valid points. It's like going back and forth, but it gets the story across a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's great though. In that same area where that table is, and he
Oh yeah.
falls through, then, and his dad's just like, "Don't use doors anymore."
Yeah.
Little yeah, that's a nice little touch. But getting back into the slides, this is going to be basically a timeline of the movie. If you guys wanted to add anything before or after, let me know. Basically, the movie starts out with King Arthur face. Well, isn't it King Arthur and some other
Merlin was there, and he looked like he had
Merlin?
scabies on his face or something. I don't know what that was. Did you see that? Like he had a
Yeah,
skin
Yeah.
disease.
I was like Merlin's a wizard. Like that's not Merlin. Merlin's like all powerful and like.
Yeah, that's
What are
Merlin.
But basically, they go up against like what's her name again? I'm sorry.
Namira, I think. Namia.
Yeah, basically
Yeah,
the
Nemu, Nemoy,
Moy, I
Nimoy,
think.
like
Nina.
yeah, Nimu. Is that right?
I think the Mew, yeah. But like they go up there. Would you guys say they ambush her? Like with, or what would you guys say?
No, it was originally going to be a truce or like a deal where she takes over or something, and she basically wins, even though there was a truce called upon earlier, and then he breaks the truce and he has his troops ambush her by like shooting a ballista arrow or something.
It definitely stabs her in the back there, or
Yeah.
literally the front.
Yeah.
So yeah, that whole scene plays out, and then they cut her body up into pieces, and he sends his knights to go across the world and hide them in different spots.
Did you
Which
guys
I-
get like?
Hmm.
Sorry.
I was gonna just say, which I thought we would get like a little more exploration on that part, where Hellboy would have to travel around the world, but not so much.
What they do with the torso? Because
I know,
that
that's a
wasn't
huge
fitting in a
piece.
box.
They don't explain it, but something I wanted to mention about this movie, it's very gruesome. Like there's scenes where they just cut up bodies, they cut up like heads, you see blood everywhere. You see the guts falling out. Like, did you guys think that was does that scream out Hellboy to you from reading the comics, Brenton? I was cool with it. I was like, there's a lot of it.
Yeah, I think that works in this world. Yeah, that didn't bother me. The only probably aspect of that that bothers me is that they use all CG now instead of like the practical effects for blood effects. But I guess that's common practice in Hollywood.
They missed
Saves
out.
money probably.
Yeah, they missed out a big opportunity with this movie. With like, I feel like they used way more, like you were saying, CGI than they probably should have.
Even like the costumes, they weren't that good in this movie compared to Del Toro's, because it's one CG and the other is just, I guess the characters come and go a lot. Like this guy King Arthur, when you look at him, it just looks like a knight wearing a helmet. You know, it's like, it doesn't look good to me. I don't see King Arthur there. I just see like a guy.
Soldier
Yeah,
in the
he's just
background.
horny.
Yeah, he's horny. But yeah, speaking for the gore part, I really enjoyed that. That was awesome. Like it got really gory sometimes.
Yeah.
Doesn't
don't know if
it? Did it give you a sense of not being like it didn't gross you out with the
Oh,
way
yeah.
the CG was done, whereas like some practical effects can be like really disgusting when you see them on film.
Like
I-
the old school zombie movies.
Yeah, some of that stuff. Like it doesn't feel like, I don't know, maybe it felt a little more comic booky this way than just seeing like actual people getting cut up.
Honestly, at some points it did feel like it was like an R-rated Marvel movie, because in Marvel movies you never see gore, and it's rare when you see blood. And it felt like if Marvel were to like go all out with their superheroes, yeah, this would be how it would be, where people would be getting their arms blown off or torn off. It's
Imagine
pretty
like a
good.
live action Invincible.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
that'd be
thanks.
awesome.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Blah."
Jeez. If they were to do a live action Invincible, I wouldn't mind the director for this guy doing it.
Oh,
The
yeah.
gore parts at least, right?
So after this scene, basically, you get Hellboy, and Hellboy tries to save one of his FBI agent friends that's turning into like a monster. I didn't understand that part. Did you like how he got infected to become a monster? Like, how does that work out?
Well, he just got bit by a vampire. That's essentially what he went down there to stop vampires, got bit, and never came back. He was missing for like 3 weeks, so Hellboy went down to find him.
Gotcha, vampire. That's what it was. Okay,
Yep.
It was
cool.
Yeah, I liked the scene. First
I
time
like-
we get to see Hellboy.
I love how it was in Mexico too. So,
Yeah, this was actually right out of like a comic story.
oh,
So-
cool.
Well, that's awesome. I didn't like how there was so much lens flare in this scene though. Like there was a
Star
point where
Trek.
like he was talking to him, and then you see the lens flare behind his head, and it was just like flashing in my eyes while I was watching on the TV here. But yeah, no, everything else was great. I thought we were gonna get to see more of this character, Ruiz. Yeah, he dies pretty quickly.
I think it's just our intro to be like, hey, this is going to be the tone of the movie.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like
You know.
gory immediately. Like he gets the turnbuckle like spiked right through him.
And I like his dad yelling at him when he's just like, he's not your friend. You just get drunk together.
Yeah. That was an awesome line. But to keep going, I don't know if this is right after this, but this surprised me, to be honest. This blew me away. I call it the betrayal. Did not see that happening. Like I didn't see this coming at all. And as soon as I saw Hellboy get stabbed through the back, or the spear go right through him, I pressed pause and I was like, oh, it's actually happening. Like I thought my TV messed up, or like it fast forwarded, cut off, and I was like, what's happening? Like,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, this
Yeah, I
scene blew me
I
away.
didn't see that coming either. When they said that they could take on one giant, sure, two giants, most likely, and then three giants, they need help. When I think back on that line after seeing this scene, I'm like, okay, it does make sense that they still wouldn't need Hellboy because they could probably just lure one giant away and kill them. Do it that way, like they've been doing for centuries, killing giants. So looking back, you see clues like that to where they're just kind of not making sense. But yeah, this scene, it didn't blow me away, but I was shocked at what happened, especially
Mhm.
because you don't see in the first one Hellboy getting stabbed through. Like you always see him like taking a hit or being bitten, but you
Yeah.
see him being impaled with that spear, and it's just I was like, oh my god, he's gonna have to go to the doctor after
Yeah,
this. Like in
yeah,
the first
exactly.
one, he
Mhm.
He
goes to
did take a
Abe.
lot of punishment. He
Yeah,
got beat up big time.
so, it's pretty interesting.
I love this whole scene though because him fighting them off and then finally like passing out in the water and like coming to a little bit and seeing that dude with the animal on his head just go get destroyed by the giant.
That's one of my
Oh
favorite shots in the movie is he's passing out in the water and then he sees like the head floating in the water next to
yeah,
him. That's one of my favorite shots.
We're kind of sick, aren't we?
Yeah.
But it's basically from the same scene from here. Hellboy comes to see if his dad's friends, to help them on something they're running into, like an issue they're running into, and come to find
yep.
out they're all against his dad in raising Hellboy, and they want to get rid of Hellboy.
Well, they saw
So,
the prophecy too that like he's gonna like destroy the earth. Like he's the one person that's gonna bring humanity down.
mhm.
But this was like kind of just an info dump of like here's the origin. This is how we got here.
Yeah. And it was like I liked how they had their own base sort of Club of Osiris.
Oh yeah.
You could see like they definitely have history, and it kind of seems like we were gonna get more of a feel for what these characters were. Like they're their own group. They could be their own movie, maybe like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or something like that.
Court of Owls. Yeah.
Yeah, but interesting how they made him betray him immediately almost. And his dad was the one who sent him out to these guys, right? Or was it
Yeah,
someone else?
yeah, but he had no idea that was gonna happen. He had
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
not like his dad was behind it. But I could never get a good read on that lady there. The lady, what was her name?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
She was
I
their
don't know if she
seer.
like was good or bad or just very ambiguous or didn't care, indifferent. Like I never got a read on her. Like which side was she on?
Hmm. Yeah, it's she could have. They could have done more with her. I feel. Uh, but yeah, she just says that thing where he's the guy that's supposed to destroy the world, and then the next time you see her, she's dead.
Isn't it
It
interesting that they like wiped out everybody that was supposedly at that Nazi um, event in the beginning with Rasputin, like where the
Mhm.
origin of Hellboy was, because she was there and Broom was there, and I don't know if that other guy was there. What was his
The
name? The leader of the
lobster.
Osiris.
Oh, um, I don't remember his name. Master of the Hunt guy though.
Yeah, yeah. They were all there and they all died. So I thought that was curious that these people that age slowly now met their end.
We'll have to watch it one more time again to.
It could be too that maybe that's what's scaring that Ben guy. Maybe he's like realizing that, oh crap, these people who were told that they were supposed to save the world by destroying Hellboy, one by one are dying. This is getting kind of worrisome. Maybe that's why it was doing. Maybe that's why they killed them all. I don't know.
I'm going to read Walton's comment really quick. He says, "Evening all. I never read the comic, but did you guys actually enjoy League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?" Is that the one with William Shatner, right? Not William Shatner.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it wasn't like the best ever, but it was. I liked it for what it was.
Yeah, it was okay. I read part of the comic. It's way more graphic in the comic. Like they have, they have like really messed up scenes in the comic. But yeah, it was okay.
Well, you have to, I guess, take into account who it was written by, because that was an Alan Moore thing that he did. So he did like the Watchmen. He wrote The Killing Joke. He wrote Swamp Thing. So he is very anti turning his comics into movies. Like he gets very angry about that stuff.
Wow.
He also said, or Walton Chunky says, that made me sad for it being Connery's last movie. Yeah, because after that he was done with movies because it was like a bomb and he felt embarrassed or something like that.
That's such a long time ago.
That was really his last movie?
Mm-hmm.
That felt like that was like 2003 when that came
out. Yeah. Well, we really messed him up.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, the movie was okay. It was, it's a mediocre comic book film. That I just wonder with a lot of these movies, like if they came out now, how they would do.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that would be amazing right now.
Yeah.
But to keep going with like the timeline, so there they are. What's that game called? Christopher?
The Osiris Club.
The Osiris Club is right there.
Yeah.
They are. They got
Doesn't Hellboy make a comment about that where he's like, "Oh, where are they?" And then he's like, "Oh."
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, guess they needed my help after all.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because then the other part is when he stabs the dude in the head with the tree and then like slides all the way down onto him and then like burps in his face. And he's like, "What have you been eating?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that's right."
Yeah. Really quick, we in that scene before we got a glimpse at his origin, and we saw like baby Hellboy when the Nazis are opening the portal. I was not expecting to see Rasputin again, like same guy, well, not the same actor, but the same character, like bald goatee. And we also saw the Nazi assassin with the mask.
Yeah,
I was like, whoa, that's interesting.
And that chick, the blonde-haired chick?
Mm-hmm. Like she was taking pictures or something?
The blonde-haired woman, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say chick anymore. Come on, man.
I meant chiclets. You have chiclets.
Yeah, interesting, though, that we saw... Oh, we also saw the lobster in that scene, with the origin scene. He comes out... Yeah, like such a weird thing to bring up. I thought it was just going to be soldiers, but then he had his like claw on his hand that he brands people with.
Yeah. Lobster Johnson.
Yeah.
He has his own series, so that's why it's always fun. He's part of that Mignola-verse.
That's cool. But yeah, this giant scene, my favorite scene in the whole movie, like involving him fighting the giants eating the Osiris Club. And
this is so much fun.
Yeah, it's like one of the later scenes where we get to see how gruesome this movie can be. They're ripping their heads off, they're ripping their arms off. The guy on the right, that the giant's eating, he was still screaming when Hellboy was looking, and then he just bit his arm off and he died. It's good.
I definitely love the look here. It's like they've been doing it forever, so they're like, I'm just gonna sit down on this big stump and then just like literally just like eating it like we would be eating like not chips, It was great. I know it was kind of exact. I mean, like I guess Hellboy has super strength, right, in order to hold those logs up or those like branches up. So he grabs it and just throws it at them, and then just
Yeah, I mean he's essentially half a demon, so that's why he's
does
like
it.
immune to fire, really hard to kill.
Yeah, and this battle like spans fields. Like he
Oh
gets
yeah,
thrown all over there. Good scene though. I really enjoyed it. It was my favorite. And we also get to see Hellboy fight in the daytime. So
oh yeah. I think it's the first time, so that's cool.
mhm.
So I felt we really got to analyze like his appearance, the makeup, the clothing, because it was shot so bright. You really couldn't hide anything if there were mistakes there, or stuff that didn't look too good.
Mhm.
So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, and it also shows like I know I said that we can expect the gore we should expect from the movie, but it also shows like the fighting too. Like these giants, they're not even important to the story, but we still get to see like a nice glimpse of how Hellboy deals with like fighting enemies, even common enemies. Like I don't wouldn't say these guys are common, but he still fights mythological beings, monsters, and you get to see plenty of that. There's plenty of fighting in this movie.
Yeah, yep. It's cool too because like it's 3 versus 1,
Uh,
so you get to see the odds against him with a lot of But the next scene, I don't think this guy gets enough credit though. Like when I was looking up the cast, they didn't have this character as like a part of the cast, like as the main characters. But he has like a lot of dialogue and he has like a lot of scenes. So I was very surprised. But I thought this guy was pretty cool. The Hawk.
Yeah, he's pretty
yeah,
important to the movie.
Hmm.
definitely. Um, I his intro scene was my favorite. He comes in and like he squishes the priest, and then he starts going around and yells at everybody. He's also one of the I think first characters that just says the F word. And it's scary too because you hear him yelling at them like, "Where the fuck is it?" And then he's like biting their arms off, and
He's biting the arms off, and you could see him like wailing at the wall or next to the other
well,
priest in the very beginning. So I thought that was pretty
he's
funny.
very brutal, but
Yeah.
very
I
cool
do love
character.
that though, as that guy, like, because they took their vow of silence and he's writing on the chalkboard and he's like, "Don't open," and then before you know it, it's just boom, that door's on that other guy.
Yeah, it's a cool line too. Where since they're on the vow of silence, he's like, "Tell me, the screaming breaker vow of silence," like just
Yeah,
intimidating him. Like, oof,
Yeah.
a really
It's
intimidating guy.
gruesome too.
and it
Yep.
was weird how he could like rip out his tongue and eat it, and then he could speak in the
Yeah.
religious tongue to open the break the chains.
Hmm. Like
That
he
was
doesn't
interesting.
even he wasn't even like what do you call it, swift, or he wasn't graceful with
Deli-
it. Yeah, he reaches into his mouth like with fingers in the mouth and his thumb on the jaw, and he just like rips it out completely. So brutal.
and his line's just like, "I have to do everything myself."
Another part was this character. I
Baba
forgot her
Yaga.
name. Yeah, yep. I thought this was like a little nod to Guillermo del Toro because the way she walked, the way she was like moving around. I feel like it was like a Guillermo del Toro scene, like or character. I'm sorry, but just like the rest of the characters, gruesome, foul, very, very grotesque, I guess would be the word. Or
Mhm.
what do you guys think?
Um, yeah, I thought she was okay. I feel like her scene went on a little bit too long, where he's sitting down to eat food, and then they kind of still kept going with the scene. I didn't, and then her intro, she was crawling out of that well thing, and then she was just going slowly and then hiding behind the curtain. That took like a minute or two, and I feel like it dragged on a little bit. But really cool. It's just another example of how many like different, like variety of monster and characters we see in the movie, and even a character like this that gives like a hint or like a location of where the witch is to Hellboy.
Yeah,
Uh, really cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed her, and I think there's a story where you get to, you find out how Hellboy stole her eye or took her eye. So you get that backstory if you read the stuff you picked up. Um, I liked her character design. She was creepy, grossed me out when she had to kiss him. So that was,
Yeah.
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 She's like, we're gonna have to seal it with a kiss, and it was just like, oh, you just felt that. You're like, that just grossed you out. That was probably the grossest thing in the movie.
And
Yeah.
Hellboy says, like, how do you have hair on your tongue?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely a weird character to be honest. But to keep going, I included this because did you guys what did you guys think of this character? Like, was he playing a bad guy? Was he playing was he trying to be a good guy, or what do you guys think?
I think he was trying. He thinks he was doing the right thing by pushing Hellboy to get the sword. Um, he was also that the reason why he's like that is because he was cursed because he let King Arthur break the truce that he had with the witch in the beginning. So he's like cursed to be buried alive for thousands of years. He's he's like another character I wish they did more with because he's Merlin, a wizard we've all heard, one of the most famous wizards in history or in the world or folklore or whatever.
Disney too.
Yeah, so yeah, I would say he was a good guy, just he wasn't aware of what was going on with Hellboy. He just kind of assumed things.
Yeah, I feel like those characters, like the ancient characters, are like everything's set in stone and nothing's gonna change. It doesn't matter how you grew up or anything like that. So
uh Like a really old way of thinking,
yeah,
sort of.
yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Brenton? What do you think of a hobo Merlin?
Yeah, I think he was just there to move the story along because it really didn't do too much because Hellboy did take the sword then. He's just like, no. And then he died. Like Hobo Merlin stuck around for him to come for the sword, and then he didn't take it, and he died.
Yeah,
So
he's like
it's,
literally, I came back to life with enough magic to hold off to get you the sword, and you throw it away in my face.
exactly. And then he's like yelling at him as he's like dying, and Hellboy's just like, nope, not taking it.
But it was interesting to see that. I love the scene, like this scene right here, how they have the Excalibur just shaking around, like it's not just on the stone. I thought that was an awesome like little scene they had.
It's like an ode to Thor. Like if they have the right person close to it, it starts vibrating or something.
Hmm. I thought that
Yeah.
was a cool touch.
I think wasn't it? It also showed a scene where it was like hell on earth. He was like riding around on a dragon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He got to
That's a
see
scene.
that. Yeah, he got to
That's
see that.
another like top 3 good scenes in the movie. Like, he's riding around on a dragon, and when I first saw that, I was like, "Wait a minute, is this happening? Are we fast forwarding in the movie?" And he's riding around, and it's playing like heavy rock music. It made me think of the video game Doom. And he jumps off the dragon, and he just starts like swiping at everybody as they
Slaughtering
run
everybody.
around. Yeah, really cool. Um,
It, Danny is asking, is that Excalibur? That's Excalibur, right?
yeah, that
Yep.
is.
Yeah. So Walton's is saying, so since I missed the first part of the stream, am I right thinking you like this more than you expected? Stay tuned. No kidding. Yeah, we did. No,
Catch the
yeah.
replay.
No, this is Christopher and I's first time watching it, so yeah, we in the very beginning we do say we liked it more than we expected. But going back to this thing, I brought this picture up because this guy does everything to like satisfy her, and he just like doesn't get his way at the end. I felt so bad for this guy. Like, come on, man, like give him something. But like,
I know it's pretty cold hearted, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah,
He's like, you promised me, and she's like, nope.
yeah. She
all that service and
she did apologize, but it still didn't feel like It was satisfying. But then he had it coming too, because he killed like so many people.
Yeah, he really did. He like massacred. You just figured we saw one like church where he got the box. Imagine him doing that 4 more times.
Yeah, he's brutal. Um, he's also I didn't really understand his origin too. He's like a changeling, so he was going to be replaced with like another human girl until there was iron put on him. But wouldn't like the girl eventually come into contact with iron in the future? Like, how does that work?
I guess
Like if he had lived as human. So
I don't know.
yeah, but it's a cool character.
I know he is from the comics, so that's a storyline with the whole like swapping babies and stuff, and Hellboy having to get the baby back. So that is a story. And I do think this guy sticks around for a while in the books and grows up.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I gotta read the comics now.
They
I
even have
thought.
one called The Wild Hunt, so you got to read that.
Oh, definitely. I thought this was cool. Like as soon as I saw like the legs like walking towards the screen, I was like, "Whoa, is there a house on top? Like what's the chicken legs?" And then like there's a
Yeah,
house on top, like out
yeah,
of
the
this
house on
world.
chicken legs.
Yeah, that's where the Baba Yaga is, right?
Yep.
Mm.
I think that's actually like part of the Russian. Is it Russian folklore for the Baba Yaga? Like that is actually like a story that's told. Like a grandmother would tell like their grandchild or something.
Haha, that's interesting. There's a lot, I guess, Russian folk or mythology here too, I guess. But did you guys like the scene, or did you guys
Oh yeah,
think?
it
Yeah,
looks great. It's
I
great
was
aesthetic.
I was fine with it. Like I said before, though, I feel like it kind of went on a little bit too long. Like the outside scene where he climbs on it and then he's about to fall off. That was funny. And then, yeah, I just felt like everything after that went on a little bit too long. It was a cool scene, though.
I feel like if it was up to Christopher, this movie would be like 4 minutes long.
Well,
I'm kidding.
I was just curious when you say that. I wonder if like because I think I looked up this guy's credits before and it's mainly TV. So I wonder if like his pacing for a film, like he's not as good with the pacing when it comes to
Hmm.
films because he has a lot more time in like a TV show or a lot more filler.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
I did see that. Like, I felt like a lot of parts were rushed, or if they weren't rushed, they were like way overextended. So
Mhm.
I could see TV. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was moments in the movie where I'm like, God, when is it gonna end? It's cool. Like I like this movie, but like, it kind of it's a little long.
It's yeah, we'll go over that in a little bit, but yeah, this scene was really really cool. This character, we're like fast forwarding toward the end a little bit, but this character kind of let down for me. Like the whole movie, this guy is like I can't get too angry, or I'll turn to Bane or something. I can't get too angry, or like you'll see me turn into a demon. When
He's
I was
no
like,
Hulk.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, what is there a cat? Is that my cat on TV?
Mhm.
Just give her some catnip or give her some like food and she'll go away.
Yeah. Like when I saw him come out as a cheetah thing, I thought he was gonna transform again. Just I'm like, oh, that's it, then, huh? Like,
Yeah, it's kind of
uh,
let down. Yeah.
yeah, and then he just gets beat up anyway.
Yeah.
hmm It just
But
didn't feel right. Is
it
this
didn't
character in
go.
the comics, Brenton?
He could be, but I think he's more in that other series. I think you'd be surprised how big like the Mignolaverse is. Like
Mm.
there's so many different parts now where they've created it because they have like um, Lord Baltimore, Lobster Johnson, Abe Sapien had his own thing, BPRD, then the Hellboy, and then I think there's one other guy that's like a paranormal guy. I forget his name, but so he's really expanded this world. So I've only stuck with the Hellboy stuff.
Mm.
I got this picture because like I thought, he looked evil in this one. I was like, shoot him.
Did
Yeah.
you catch who Lobster Johnson was? Who
Uh,
played him?
Oh no.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Let me
who's
see.
that?
He played like Sandman in Spider-Man 3.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
His
could see
voice
that.
does. Yeah, I could hear his voice
His
now.
face too. Oh, I didn't get
Interesting.
that. That's funny. Now I can't. I gotta rewatch it just because of that.
It
But
was a
would you
cool
guys?
scene. I like this baby version of Hellboy more. The other one looked more like a monkey, and I guess they did call that out with the soldier saying it's a red ape. Um, but yeah, this one looks more evil. Like see the glow in his eyes. There's the horns there already, and yeah, I like this one.
I don't
The other,
remember. Did they change Ron Perlman's eyes for the other movies? Because I don't remember them being like this. Like his eyes are pretty yellow the
Right.
whole time.
Yeah.
I don't remember much. If it was done like in a darker way where we couldn't really notice the yellow contrast of it.
Like this really sticks out. This is like something you definitely see in a horror movie where it'd be like a demon coming at you.
This sticks out so much that I want to switch to the next slide. But yeah, cool scene. So the last couple of pictures I thought were badass. Like this could be a wallpaper, or this could be like I love the sword and like this little his crown that he has. Like when he goes full demon. Like this is
Oh yeah.
like the actor. Like I can't even see him anymore too, which is weird. Like do you guys what do you guys think of like him being full demon? Is like what I would call it.
It's cool. I like how they made him bigger too. Like he
Oh, he
didn't
grew.
just get the horns or halo and the sword. He got like at least a size bigger, like double Hellboy. Um, yeah, he's pretty cool. I wish we could have seen him more in it. We only saw the scene where he saw a glimpse of what would happen if he took the sword and the world was under the apocalypse, and then we only see him in the end like this. So, and then like in the posters, the movie posters promoting this movie, we see that's one of the first movie posters is him with the
Yeah.
sword and the horns. So kind of surprised this scene only lasted like I don't know 5 minutes, but
Yeah, me
really
too.
cool.
Yeah, I thought this looked great. The sword effects, like just the effects that they did for this, the fire looked so good. So maybe they spent all the budget on this part.
Yeah, it looked amazing. Like Brenton, like when he goes like this full demon mode, does he have anybody that could like keep up with him, or is there anyone that strikes him down while he's in this form?
No, not that I know of. I think this is like the Ender of Worlds version. There's like no stopping him unless he stops himself.
Oh wow,
So
that's really cool. I think the last one, oh, one of the last ones. What'd you guys think of the demons that started coming out of nowhere and started killing like literally everybody in some gruesome manners and everything?
This was the guy I was talking about the last episode. That picture you had. I thought that was Death from Hellboy 2. You know that deaf person that said the.
oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I was referencing. I was like, I thought that person appears in this movie, but yeah, when I see it now, yeah, it's a different thing. Uh, really great scene. And this is my favorite scene in the whole movie. Just it reminds me of Cabin in the Woods. How like all the monsters came out.
I love that movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's so gruesome too. Like you see a guy. It's funny too. It doesn't make sense, but in the scene before that, the witch is kind of taking over the city, and everybody's like freaking out, like, "Oh my god!" And that's when Hellboy gets in there, goes in the church. But then you see when the monsters start coming out, you see a scene in the city where everybody's kind of just acting normal. You see a guy with a suitcase just crossing the street. I was like, "Oh, they could have fixed that a little bit," but immediately that guy with the suitcase just gets picked up. And my favorite death in the movie, a demon comes with a saw, like a giant saw, and puts it on the ground, and then grabs the guy and just kind of like
My
you know
favorite scene.
yeah
Jesus.
pulls him down on it. He doesn't even like smash him in it. He just pulls him down on the saw, and it's on the scene on the top left. But
Yeah.
Is this a little insight into?
I appreciate it when they take that step. Like they don't hold they don't hold back at all. They're like, yeah, we're gonna fucking kill these guys.
Max creativity instead of just like stepping on them.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
let's do something interesting.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, I think they like showed the demon side like really really well with like showing these scenes. Like I know it's gruesome and everything, but this is what they're trying to uh, make stay away.
Mhm.
So it's kind of good that they showed it in a weird way.
Did it feel like an actual threat? Like this is actually, like a world-ending threat by seeing this, like how these demons are taking over the earth. Like the
Oh
stakes
yeah,
were actually high.
yeah, like seeing these characters and also seeing those smaller characters when like what's her name is making that portal. Those like little demons going up the hill to
Uh-huh.
go support her. I was like, oh, those were no threat. But then seeing these guys and seeing those smaller guys, like I was like, oh man, like it's starting to add up.
Yeah, that's why I wish we could have had like a better final fight, because these guys show up, kill people, and then the next time we see them, they're being transported back to hell. We don't really see Hellboy interacting with them, and I would have loved to see like him swinging the sword around and fighting like a giant fight earlier in the movie. Just
Mhm.
have it with these demons. So it was
Maybe
cool
there's
what we saw.
a Snyder cut out there. Maybe the
Yeah.
studio's like, it's too long. You need to make it 2 hours or less.
Uh, they gotta cut some scenes in this movie.
Just to go on, I think this is just like one of those pictures like they pull out after. But like seeing this, like I love to be honest, like the scars you see all over his body and including his face. That's one big thing I took away from this movie. Like he's seen and he's fought a lot of things or monsters or whatever you want to call them. But like you that's the thing with the first Hellboy we watched. Like he was really clean compared to this guy. This
Mhm.
guy's been through like a lot of stuff.
Well,
Uh,
doesn't he make a comment about that too, where he was like, "Oh, at 10, you kind of like gave me a weapon and sent me on my way to like go kill my first thing."
yeah,
Yeah.
they gave him a gun. Yeah, he's been doing it for a while. And I like how, like, if you imagine without the goatee and without the long hair, he just looks like a demon. Like he looks like the devil. And they nailed that. Like they really made him look fierce.
So did you
Br-
get the sense it was like 75 years he's been doing this?
yeah, I got that. For me, I did,
I
or
did
even
it.
longer. You didn't get it?
Right, to me, it felt like a younger version of Ron Perlman's Hellboy. So it felt like he's only been doing it for, I don't know, 10 years.
Well, in dog years, in his demon
Yeah.
years, maybe that's only like.
Walton says I tend to watch more anime than random movies. If you guys like this, I'll give it a shot. I never watched Cabin in the Woods because he says I never watched Cabin in the Woods because I enjoy horror movies for the most part. I would say watch this movie and Cabin in the Woods. Both movies are great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I'm not really a fan of horror movies either, but this movie really showed the gore and the demons and the monsters. So I might start looking into them.
One scene that I like Christopher mentioned that I thought I wasn't gonna see in this movie was
Mhm.
Rasputin, and I honestly this got me out. I thought it was the same actor from the other movie. I had to zoom in a couple of times, like, oh, that's not him, but close enough.
Yeah, really appreciate that. Like, was that like in the comics too, Brenton? It was Rasputin and the
Yep.
Nazi assassin.
Yeah, that's like the first storyline. You jump right into that.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool that they show it. Also,
Yeah.
kind of feels like a callback to the Hellboy movie from Perlman.
Yeah, I don't think they got. I didn't get a sense like they just wanted to ignore all of those. They wanted to like place some homage to it. Like
Mhm.
they probably liked what came before that, but then wanted to do their own thing.
Yeah, like there's scenes like that where I don't know if because I didn't read the comics, if it was an homage to the people who, or I'm sorry, it's hints for people fans of the comics to understand, or an homage to the original Hellboy. Like at the end when it shows, I don't know. Are we gonna get into post credits?
Yeah,
Okay.
you could
Well,
talk about it now if you like.
okay. So there's like a post credit scene where they're going in that factory, and then they see something Activus Sapien, and then
Yeah.
it shows the
Yeah,
fish hand. I feel like that was kind of like a nod to people who watched the Hellboy movies with Del Toro, for us to know like what that meant. Also, I guess it's also for comic book readers. So like, hey, we're gonna explore this side next movie if there is
yeah,
one.
it's a nice Easter egg, but it doesn't seem like we're getting that next movie.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
which is weird with the amount of end credit scenes we got.
Yeah. But I think that's the last of the pictures for the scenes. There's a lot more scenes, of course, but like Christopher was mentioning, there's probably like 15 post-credit scenes.
Yeah, it's weird. Like there's one where the Ape Sapien one where they find a tank and it shows the name of Activus Sapien. It's supposed to nod to Ape. And then there's like the other scene of he visits his dad's grave, and then out comes Lobster. Uh, what's his name? Lobster Johnson.
yep.
He comes out and then he's telling him like to keep going, but he's a ghost, so he walks right past Hellboy, and Hellboy's like, "I fucking love you," because he's such a big fan of him. And then the other scene afterwards, if you wait all the way to the credits, it shows Baba Yaga talking to somebody saying, "We're gonna get Hellboy." I had to look that up on Google. It's some guy, the immortal guy or something that she was talking to. But all of this implies that there's going to be another movie. Like they set up these scenes where there's like, this is going to be the next movie. This is going to be the next movie. This is. It's just weird to me because did the guy who directed this have in mind that a second movie is a for sure thing? Is that why he did this, and then something happened, or is it just bad, um, bad foresight on his part?
He was probably just setting it up. If it happens, there's stuff here. If it doesn't happen, then at least there was just fun tidbits, I guess.
So
Yeah, I get one scene, but then there's three scenes, so that's why I was like, "What?"
one
What
thing
makes
to
you?
note is like this movie was rated R. It's kind of hard to get a rated R for these movies. It's a comic book movie. It also was released in 2019, so right before COVID. I don't know if there was any talks or anything going to happen with the second one, but according to Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 18%, but for an audience score, it has a 48%. So like with COVID and everything hitting, like it was kind of hard to go forward with the second one. I'm sure. I mean, they probably could have, but
Well, it probably came out the worst possible time because, I mean, what else came out in 2019? Endgame. Can you imagine
oh yeah,
Endgame and then this?
yeah.
I
Yeah,
think they came out in like the summer too. I think this came out in the summer. So Endgame was like May, and then this came out in the summer. Like you probably still couldn't even compete with Endgame.
yeah. If anything, delaying this movie probably would have helped them because I remember how a lot of people were streaming stuff at home after, like, once the pandemic hit. Um, so I could have seen a bump in sales from that.
But so yeah, like I like the movie. Christopher, you had a bunch of which one did you want to go over your topics?
Oh, I think we went over most of them. There was a couple of scenes that I wanted to that like I thought were funny. There was a scene where they're in the forest and they're trying to get to the witch before she gained all her blood back from the tree where she died at. Um, and so it's intense. They're being attacked by these zombie things, and then the Ben guy was like, "Just go. Like we'll take care of this." And he's like, "I'm not leaving you behind." and the psychic lady's just like, go, no, just go. So he starts running, and then the zombie's like poking his head out, and he kicks the head off, and he's like, go. It's so
I didn't catch that. I need to watch it again. That's funny.
yeah, it's so stupid because it's a tense moment and like it's serious, and then he sees the zombie's head and he decides to just yell out, "Go!" It's so dumb. What other scene? Yeah, I mean, I've already spoken about the dialogue. That was my main gripe with the movie. Is there's like a lot of dialogue that's really cliche. One scene in particular was when the witch came out in the beginning. Immediately, her first lines are, "Well, well, well," and uh, like that's the line. Well, well, well. We hear it in movies, TV shows, video games. Like it's just so played out, and the way they started with that did not give a good impression of what the movie is going to be. But luckily, the movie was, in my opinion, good anyway. Um,
It redeemed itself.
yeah, and even that line I was talking about before, the "go." No, I'm not gonna leave you. Just go. Like we see that a lot in movies. Come on, like the writing felt like it could be better as far as dialogue. Sometimes it just felt lazy like that. Um, but that does not uh, deter the movie from being a good movie. It's still a good movie with the action, the overall story of it too. So yeah, really satisfied. Surprisingly satisfied.
Me too. Yeah. How about you, Brenton? Did you want to bring up anything that we might have missed, or you want to go over a couple more times?
No, I think we nailed a good bit of it. That's kind of my perspective on this movie the whole time was, yeah, it's not going to win awards, but you're going to have fun and you're probably going to laugh watching it. So I guess, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, I went with the whole mindset of like, in my head, I don't like comparing movies, but like, there's Hellboy with Ron Perlman already. So I was like, I don't know if this guy could beat him, but Brenton made us watch it like me. But yeah, like it surprised me how the movie turned out to be. Like I didn't expect the gruesome parts. I didn't expect the betrayal. I didn't expect the giants. I didn't expect like Resident Evil being the bad guy. I didn't even know she was in the movie, so that was like a huge surprise. Like, isn't that Resident Evil right there? But yeah, like just to get to like one of the last parts of our reviews, we usually give all of our movies a score. Christopher, do you have a score for this one?
Yeah, I would give it a 7. Now,
Seven.
for me, 5 is average, 6 is good, 7's pretty good, 8 is great, 9 is, awesome, 10 is perfect. So 7, it's a good movie. I really enjoyed it. It's a fun time. Um, if you like the Ron Perlman movies, I would say definitely watch this one. It's still pretty good.
Definitely. How about you, Brenton? We usually give a
I'm on
score
the
1 through
same
10.
page.
7.
I would give it a 7. And I actually looked it up really quick. So Mike Mignola actually has a writing credit for this movie. So I knew he was more involved. So if you kind of like, I guess, the feel of this movie or the tone to a degree, or the different monsters and the locales and stuff, it's getting closer to the comic books. Whereas the other movies were kind of just Del Toro doing whatever he wanted. So that was more like Del Toro taking a character and just being like, I want it to look like this.
Yeah, Into His World. Yeah.
Yep. So that.
Yeah, I like that you said Into His World because his characters all kind of look the same. Like not the same, but they kind of have the same aesthetic.
Yeah, so for me, like my score would also be a 7, just because like I feel like I gotta rewatch it to miss the parts that you guys mentioned, and I watched it today. Like I had a busy weekend and
Same.
everything, so like I don't think it's fair to give it like a crazy high score, a crazy low score over like watching it one time. But it like talking with you guys too, it's bringing more perspective to it. So like I gotta rewatch it one more time. But 7 to me is like Christopher said is like you guys should check it out at least if you guys get a chance. Check it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
really surprised with this movie overall. satisfied with it. 2 hours went by. I mean, it felt like it dragged at points, but I'm glad I saw the movie. Like, it had like ideas that I haven't seen in other movies, like with the gore and the fights.
You know, what's funny? Like I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, this movie's gonna be 2 hours, so perfect. You know, like I'll finish 1 hour right before the show. Oh, I gotta see like if this is like if this is rated R, PG-13. I'm looking at my phone and like boom, like the trolls come out, like oh my god,
Yeah.
rated R it is. But yeah, man, like Brenton, like thanks for like letting us watch the movie. I know without you, I wouldn't push myself to watch this movie, to be honest.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate that you guys took a chance on it. You know,
Yeah.
had faith in me to not guide you the wrong way.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
It definitely does not deserve the hate it got, though. I remember the reception was pretty bad. Comments everywhere were saying how much it sucked. No, it's good.
Do you think it's because it was different than Del Toro's? Like it'd be like, we wanted that, we didn't get that, so we hate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
So
that's
it's
what it
just
was.
everyone.
Yeah.
It was that the Perlman hate, like it's not the same actor, so they were like, let's hold off on this movie. And then also, I'm guessing it's the time, like you said, it came out during the end game, so it's like everyone
Yeah.
skipped out on this one. This is a good question. Always from our 9.8 guy. What's the next movie? What do you guys think?
What do you think, Danny? What should be our next movie?
Danny Lee.
I don't know. We were talking about Leave an Extraordinary Gentleman earlier, but I kind of don't want to watch that again.
Yeah, no, I remember not being very fond of that one.
Uh-huh.
What do you guys think about? So I was thinking about this one. What about Sin City, the first one, the one
Okay,
of
definitely.
Yeah, I still have never seen that movie.
what?
That
No.
and I've read all those books too. So
Sin
Yeah.
City with who's in there? Who's in that movie?
that's Mickey Rourke and
Mickey
Bruce
Rourke.
Willis, Elijah Wood,
There's a lot of them in
Jessica
there.
Alba.
Man, that the slides for the cast, I'm gonna skip through. There's way
and,
too many characters.
Clive Owen.
Oh yeah, Clive Owen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like the two books. I want to say like The Hard Goodbye and The Yellow Bastard are the two books or two stories that movie captures. Because the second one did another book. What was that? A Dame to Kill For?
Mhm.
I think that's what that was. So if you have time to look up those books, definitely.
Brenton always makes you buy stuff, Christopher, just to give it just a
Yeah.
heads up.
But I'm interested to see if Sin City holds up. I remember reading
Oh, it
comments
does.
too that it doesn't hold up.
No, so like I got it on 4K too. It looks amazing. It looks good. But
The aesthetic of that movie is great. I love that. It's black and white like the books, and then certain things are in color.
the
So
things of
they
sin
really
are in
nailed it.
color. Yeah, I love that. So Sin City, you guys want to call it Sin City for next one?
Sure.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounds great.
Are we gonna be watching Sin City 2 after that one? Because I heard that one.
I don't know. I heard that too. Like
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't seen the second one, so I haven't been that brave.
Oh,
Just
we'll get
wondering.
we'll get there like on the next one. We'll see. Because I heard that one was not like I haven't heard anyone say that was good. And there's a reason Brenton hasn't watched it yet too. So but yeah, maybe we get Danny Lee, Walton Chunky to join in next time. So it'll be cool. But I'm gonna call that a wrap for this one. Thank you, Captain. Thank you, Brenton. And see everyone else later, yeah? See you guys.
See you later.
See ya.